Hello, Amanda Davis, Avon Independent Sales Representative, and this video is some quick tips on how to sell fragrance. So, fragrance is a little bit difficult to sell straight out of the book unless somebody is familiar with the fragrance. And we do have some classic fragrances that have been around for many years that people will ask you about that they're familiar with. But then when we release newer fragrances, customers are hesitant to buy without really knowing what it's going to actually smell like. So something that I want to point out is in the brochures, Avon has these rub your wrist here to smell the scent samples. And they work pretty good. And they're also free samples that you can give to your customers that are free to you and free to your customers, to have a little bit of a sense of what something's going to smell like. So you just rub your wrist on it, and then you can smell it, and you'll see what it smells like. And the one I just did there was the Femme, and it does smell like the Femme actually smells because I've smelled that one in person. So they work pretty good to give the customer a sense of what a new fragrance is going to smell like. And a lot of times, I mean, Femme has been out now for over a year. But when it helps for people to be able to smell these newer fragrances that they're not sure what they're going to smell like. So the number one tip is to make use of these scented pages in the brochure, because that's free to you and free to your customers as well. And it's something that it only costs you the cost of the brochure to be able to share it. Then my next tip is going to be samples. So the primary way, besides those scented pages that I've sold fragrances, is with the fragrance samples. So when a new fragrance comes out, I try to get some samples of it. And sometimes they have these liquid touch strip things that you open it up, and it's actually a little pad that they're able to put it on and have it on for a little while. And we have these for some of the female and male fragrances. So that's one type of sample. The other type of sample is these cards that have, it's a tab that you lift up for them to be able to smell, which is very similar to what you might see with like your department store fragrance samples and things that come in the mail and stuff like that. And these, sometimes they come big, like this one did for the Amore fragrance. Or sometimes they come, it's actually 6 of them together. I've taken 2 off of this one. Like this one was for the Alpha fragrance for men. And just lets them lift it up and smell the scent that way. And so those can also be very cost effective. The cards like the one I showed you for the Amore, and then the first type of sample I showed you, are all very cost effective and good ways to get samples out to your current customers as well as potential customers to be able to sell fragrances. And I will actually say, with the Rare Amethyst, I gave out some samples to some customers, and I got a new customer because one of the customers at my mom's work opened up her sample to smell it, and a coworker smelled it from afar and really enjoyed the smell. And now she tells everybody that her new favorite fragrance is this Rare Amethyst fragrance. So there you go. Samples do work. And I actually I did really well with the Rare Amethyst, so well that I decided to go ahead and do the stock up for it and do with the Take 3 one, the smallest stock up for it. So my other advice, if you can afford to do this, is when a new fragrance comes out, get 1 bottle of it that you can use as a demo. And then what you can do is go around to your current customers when you're going around prospecting for customers, events, whatever the case may be. You can show it to customers, show them what the bottle looks like, let them smell it, and even maybe they spray it. As long as it's been recently sprayed, though, they can smell it without spraying it again. And I've done this with ones that I knew I liked the scent from the sample or something that I smelled at an event or that kind of thing. But so with Rare Amethyst, I bought a demo bottle and went around, but then I ended up selling so much of it that I decided that I would go ahead and do the first stock up, because the next tip is actually one from another representative, but it's to have the stock up when there's the option to do that, which usually with new fragrances there is. And so it says to move units from a stock up program, set your goals, but then it says you can keep one for yourself and then keep one as a gift and have at least one on hand for on-the-spot sales. And it says to move them to go big with samples. And so it does work to have the samples. And even if all you do is invest in the one bottle that you go around, you can definitely sell some fragrances that way. And all of these tips, besides my own experience, came from the Campaign 9 What's New that I will have a link to on my blog post. And it's Fragrance Business Builder, which is on page 4, and it talks about how you can sell fragrances. And then there's also a few tips from some top representatives and the new Campaign 17 What's New, which I'm going to have another blog post about that, but because Campaign 17 has the new Amari Elixir. So you can always find tips out there on fragrances. Basically, the key is taking advantage of samples and demos when you can afford it, for people to be able to actually see the bottle and feel it and smell the fragrance. And there you go. Alright, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos.